Hello and welcome back to my channel again. I'm the Lonesome Dungeon Master, and today we are playing part 2 of our Return to Loremaster segment in our YouTube campaign of No Regret and Cat. If you'll recall, last time we met, we found out from Zahab that he had been robbed. And General Haydar's captain of the guard would be coming by later in the evening to talk with him about what was stolen. We also met with New Shane regarding our tapestry that we found in the dungeons of Tarush, and we discerned from him that the tapestry depicted a scene of a hunt scene, but it also was pertaining to a divine sort of tapestry area and the people that were in the dungeons of Tarush far before the orcs of the Broken Bone tribe. We did discern that the tapestry was over 1,000 years old. It's green in color, and it was divine in its source. Beyond that, New Shane couldn't tell us that much, so he decided that he was going to go back to General Haydar's castle and get his Loremaster, one Omer, and he was going to come by later in the evening to give them a little more information about the tapestry as far as he knows. Now, we did roll up the characteristics for Omer last time too, and we rolled up the characteristics for Mehmet, who is part of the retinue of General Haydar. So Omer, the Loremaster, is loquacious. He likes to talk, but he's arrogant and imposing. He's youthful in age, and he's neutral. So we decided that he was going to be a well-to-do, well-spoken Loremaster. I decided that if that was the case, then he was going to come from some form of older place in the Backloonish, from the Backloonish nations. So it wouldn't be Ket. He's not from Ket. So I decided that Omer is going to be from the Caliphate of Ekbir. So Ekbir is the strongest city-state of the Backloony in the Floness, founded by survivors of the Invoked devastation. The small port quickly grew to a place for nomads' goods as well. The original village grew into a walled town, and the town grew into a thriving city. Ekbir controls a sizable territory and has a large war fleet. So there's a large nation that is the most Backloony of all the nations. The capital city has 29,400 people. The capital city is Ekbir, and the entire population of the Caliphate is 250,000. So there's lots of politics. There's universities there, and we're going to decide that Omer is coming from the University of Ekbir. He's all the way out here in Ket, which he would think is sort of like a backwards kind of land, and sort of a bastardized version of pure Backloonish stock. But he's here. So why is he here? We'll figure out that later. He's not just going to divulge that kind of information, but he's going to meet us. Zahab is going to give us one of the larger rooms on the 3rd floor that they hold for dignitaries, and then he'll talk to us about what he thinks or what he knows about this tapestry. Now, I was having a think, if you will, about sort of what is the sort of thing that we're drawing from in terms of this tapestry. I think there's a couple of things that come to mind. Like I said, we know it's really old. It's over 1,000 years old, and we know it pertains to a divine source, and it's a tapestry of a hunt. And I was thinking about certain things that may or may not be like a tapestry like this, whether it's in history or whether it's in some sort of fiction. And I came across a couple of things in the back of my mind that I was remembering. And the first thing, we've talked about it before, R.E. Howard has The Slithering Shadow, a short story involving Conan that has a similar sort of feel. Not having orcs there, but there's a hidden kind of power behind the people in the city. The eponymous Slithering Shadow, which I think it also was an inspiration for the BX D&D adventure module, The Lost City by Tom Moldvay. And I'm also like drawing on, strangely enough, you draw from different things that you know about or different things that you've read or experienced in your life. And I was recalling Cold Heart Canyon by Clive Barker. And it's about like, early 20th century Hollywood, and this bunch of tiles that they brought in from Romania that was is filled with bizarre and erotic hunt, and it has a supernatural element to it, and it kind of affects the people that see these this room filled with tiles, and then that got me thinking about some of the Flemish art in the Middle Ages, or the early modern period, like from Bosch or Bruegel. So they had a lot of unsettling scenes of everyday life, people going about their business, intermixed with hellish creatures and landscapes. And so it's kind of a bizarre thing. So I think Omer comes in here and he's explaining what this tapestry is to our group, and he's telling them that it is indeed a hunt, but it is also symbolic of a greater thing, and in a way, sort of this place, this Tarouche, which I'm just kind of learning a little bit about now, even though I know so much, since he's arrogant, he just likes to talk, much like I'm doing here right now, telling about like certain histories and certain inspirations for certain things. So he'll go on a talk about the symbolic nature of this hunt and how they're doing this sort of diabolical and erotic sort of actions during the hunt, whether like flaying people or stuffing hands down their throats, or burning them alive, or hitting them with whips and things like that, sort of like goading them on to a certain area. So most people would think that it is a divine, sort of maybe like an evil god kind of thing, but it's a false thing. The evil god is not a god at all, but he is he's a demon, and I think we've all seen this before. If you're familiar with Advanced Dungeons and Dragons First Edition in the Player's Handbook, here we have Here we have a representation of a demon on the front of the player's handbook, and that's what we're gonna go with here, because I want to bring this into play. And that is actually, from my understanding, well, people can correct me if I'm wrong, but from my understanding, it looks similar here, but that is Moloch. He's an archdevil. He's a Grand Duke, Viceroy of Beelzebub. So he's a big deal. And he goes around with this pronged whip, and he hits people with it. So, or he flays people, or he tortures people. And that could be sort of what we're finding out about the Dungeons of Tarush, when it has like torture chambers in it and things like that. And who are these people? And Omer sort of like plays with his beard a bit, has a think, and he's got like a bejeweled sort of necklace on, and he plays with the jewels in his necklace, and it's a kind of jeweled necklace that not many people here would ever have or have seen. It's so audacious. And he's thinking about it for a second, and he said, well, not many people know this, but as I've gone through the university in Ekpur, I've noticed that like this area over here where now Ket resides, the original inhabitants of this land were a group of people known as the Shven. And they did all sorts of experiments with magic, with people, brokering deals with demons and devils to get what they wanted, and things like that. But they would put it in the guise of a divine being, saying, you need to sort of be, be through the ringer, as it were, and just experience all the worst that life has to give you in order to find a good spot in the afterlife. And so that's how they kind of presented it to their peoples and any other people that they took over, all in the guise of this vengeful, punishing kind of god, whereas actually just Moloch, this archdevil. So that's what it is. That's who it is. And these people, the Shven, how do we know much more about the Shven? Can we? I don't know. He'll have to go back to the university and do some more, or send a missive to the university to find out more information about it. But he alone is the kind of person that would know the answers to these things. So it's good that we came to him. He said that in sort of an arrogant kind of way, like, you guys would never know anything about this, or you can't do that. Now, we talked about Zawar wanting to learn more magics and wanting to get a mentor, and I was hoping that, hoping that Omer would do that for him, but it's gonna be a hard sell, and he's gonna, they thank him for his information. They want to know how much it's worth. And he says it's really hard to tell him how much it's worth. And we say it's over 1,000 years old. So we'll go 1 to 10, number of thousands of years old. So how old is it? It's 9,000 years old. That is super old. Okay. So he sort of feels it, and they kind of puts his hand on it, and Mumala was like beside himself. He's so surprised. He brings his hand down on the tapestry, and it sort of poofs up a bit of like dust and stuff. And Omer sort of covers his mouth and warns them that, you know, you don't know what sort of bacteria or poisons and these old things contain, so don't go around, you know, banging it around. But 9,000 years old, that's got to be worth a certain amount of money, even if it isn't like great to know. So this is a big find, but he offers them he's going to offer them, this is going to be big for them, but 1d8 100 gold pieces. 600 gold pieces. 600 gold pieces. Well, it's a really old tapestry. So, we're gonna do a reaction to his monies. And we talked about Omer being loquacious and arrogant. So it'll be plus 1d8, 7 plus 7, and minus 1d8 minus 4. So we have a total of plus 3. He's charismatic and imposing, so that'll be another plus 1d8, plus 1. So that's plus 4%. Charismatic would be plus 10%, and he's offering them more money than they could ever imagine, so that's going to be plus 50%. So that'll give us a 60 plus 64%. 0.5 plus 64 is 66. Uncertain, but 55% prone towards positive. 16. So it is positively accepted by the group. 600 gold pieces is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. So they're going to agree to that. Read the tapestry. And so we met Omer. 600 gold pieces. That's going to bump us pretty nicely. And then the tapestry is gone, or he's going to take it. He's going to take it to the castle and put it in the archives. But now Zawar is going to ask him if he can be his mentor or teach him a few spells. So Zawar is plus 10%. They just found him something nice that he's going to be happy about, so we'll give him plus 20. So we'll give Zawar plus 30. $37. Uncertain, but 55% prone towards negative. So not sure. He's like, I'm pretty busy. 99. So he's not uncertain. He's not negative. He's neutral, but that 99 is a big deal. I mean, you don't roll 99 too often, so he's going to agree to sort of mentor him. He's going to agree to mentor him, and then he's going to like teach him a new spell. But he's more of a diviner, and he's going to talk to him about. So Zawar doesn't know. He doesn't know a ton about. He doesn't know a ton about this one other spell that I said he had, but he couldn't really figure it out, which was the Find Familiar spell. So he's going to teach him how to do that, or he's going to tell him it's not as bad as you think it is, right? So protection from evil, or not protection from evil, sorry. Find Familiar. Find Familiar. Familiar is a certain benefit to magic as the creature adds to the spellcaster's hit points. It converts its sensory powers to its master, and it can converse with and will serve as a guard, scout, spy as well. However, the magic user has no control over what sort of creature will answer the summoning. It takes 24 hours to cast, so it's going to take a full day to cast this. But that being said, Omer is going to teach him a spell, and he's going to agree to mentor him. Magic user spell, first level. To not identify, I don't think he can. He's not going to be super helpful in that way, I don't think. Well, let's just roll for it. There's 30 spells. I'll roll a d20 here. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Comprehend languages, which makes sense. Makes complete sense. Comprehend languages. So Omer also teaches them comprehend languages. So there's another spell in his spell book, but that might help down in the dungeons of Tarush to sort of decipher some stuff. So you might want to do that. Okay. We're going to cast... Well, let's just make it. Let's just do it while he's here. Find out what sort of... what sort of creature he gets. Find Familiar. 1d20. This is, he's gonna get. Nine. Owl. Oh, very Harry Potter of him. So he's going to get an owl, which brings with it night vision equals human daylight visual ability, superior hearing. That's like not bad. It's not bad. Actually, he can't cast it now. It costs him 100 gold pieces. I had 100 gold pieces worth of incense, so he can't cast it now. I got a little too far ahead of myself and excited about it. Okay, that's Omer. Omer has agreed to be Zawar's mentor. He's paid them 600 gold pieces, and he's going to teach him comprehend languages. And then he takes the tapestry and heads back to the castle. Now, this brings up all sorts of interesting things. So we know that the tapestry is for Moloch, who is presenting himself as a divine being to the Shven peoples who were here 9,000 years before. Well, at least 9,000 years. The tapestry itself is 9,000 years old. So the Shven people were here 9,000 years before now, which is way back in the past. When they put it out, none knows or none can say, or Omer is not really sharing that information quite yet. But this is an interesting turn of events, because these people, the Shven people, were in this area that is now Ket long time ago. So there might be magics, there might be ruins, there might be history to uncover. And that's going to be wonderful news to the Loremaster. It's going to be wonderful news to our friends, the adventures of the Brazen Monkey, because now they have sort of like a goal to find out more about these Shven people. And it doesn't have to be at the Dungeons of Truth. It could be, it could be across all of this hex, or it could be all the way across Ket. Nobody knows how far this culture or these people ranged and ruled. And that's going to be sort of it could be an overarching campaign thread too. Who are these Shven people, and what happened to them? So that's great to know. I think right now I've wandered on a bit, about 28 minutes. I think I've had a good time. I rolled a couple of dice. We found out some more information about the tapestry. We got paid for it, and I'm gonna quickly sort of divvy up the experience points, because we got 600 gold pieces divided by 4. That is 150 a person, which isn't which actually isn't that much, because we have a ways to go here. But 150 gold pieces a person. They will be able to pay their first. There is another tapestry on the wall in the Dungeons of Truth. They only took one. Maybe they'll take the other one, and maybe that'll be worth more. So what I say, it's 150 experience points each. So I will update these. These will now be 150 plus 150. And we'll do that for each of them. And they'll each get 150 gold pieces, right? So that'll go in the kitty. 150 gold pieces. And how much more do we owe? How much more do we owe? Let me say that last time, how much I owed. We still owed. I wrote down some, or I said it in the last episode. I'll go back and look at that again, and we'll figure out. They're gonna pay their first month on the evening of day 4, so that we have the rest of the month that we're already up to speed in terms of our rooms. Now we don't have to scrape by. We're gonna make it to month 2, which is fantastic. But our next episode, we're gonna talk to Mehmet. And we're going to figure out what was stolen from Zahab, how it affects his family, and whether or not other people in town were robbed, and who the culprit may or may not have been. And then I guess we'll ask Mehmet also about sort of the orcs, the Broken Bone tribe orcs, and what he feels about them, and whether or not he's going to take us. Gonna take a hand in digging them out or not. I would assume not, because if they're gonna hang out down in the dungeons, it's not an immediate threat. It's not a direct threat to Loremaster or this hex. Once they come out, if they're gonna come out en masse, then he'll rally the troops to sort of quell it. But up to this point, he's probably got his hands full managing the town, or sorry, the village, and trying to find this thief. But we'll leave it at that. We'll come back and I'll do a third part of this Back to Loremaster, and we'll do that with Mehmet, and then tie up maybe some other loose ends, and I guess we'll hang out in town for maybe a little while, maybe a week, to rest up, buy some supplies. We'll build out some other things in town. So there'll be a couple more parts in this Back to Loremaster, but we know what the next one's going to be. It's going to be talking to Mehmet and finding out about the robbery that happened to Zahab and his family. All right, thanks for watching this one. I'll talk to you later, and I'll see you again.